All right, what's up, everybody? My name is Andrew, and I'm here with Coach,
What's up?
and I'm here with Rob,
Yellow.
and we are pretty psyched for the Hellboy miniatures game by Mantic Games. So, in honor of that game coming out, we are going to be discussing the first volume of Hellboy, Seed of Destruction. And but before we start talking about the graphic novel, are we hyped for this Kickstarter?
Oh yes, beyond typed.
Yes,
Oh.
it looks pretty awesome. The models that we have seen so far.
Well, the three of us, we were lucky enough to, when we went to Mantic Open Day, Mantic Open Night at Adepticon, it was the three of us plus three other guys, and Ronnie Renton, who's the CEO of Mantic, actually ran us through the whole gambit of what the game is, showed us some models, and we got a first-hand look of it. So after that, I mean, we were psyched to begin with, but now it just adds to, our psychedness.
We're over psyched now.
Or too psyched. Ridiculous.
Yes, so we are obviously excited, and by the time you are listening to this, the Kickstarter will be live, and over on the Family of Gamers 777 channel, we will have coverage on that Kickstarter, through updates and Kickstarter. The stretch goals and whatnot, and we'll be talking about the miniature games over there, the miniature game over there, and then over here we're going to be talking about the comic. And so Rob, would you like to give the synopsis of Hellboy: Seed of Destruction?
I guess I can do that. It was published in March to June 1994. Were you even alive then, Andrew?
I was not.
Yeah, there you go. This is an old comic book, but it's a doozy. It was published under the Legend imprint at Dark Horse. It was like Dark Horse's creative owned. It's like Images now, but this was back in '94. It's folded in '98, that imprint. Now it's Hellboy's all just under Dark Horse. It was written by John Byrne. I think it's Byrne. And Mike Mignola. I think John, he was the one who ran that imprint, so he probably helped out. It was Mike Mignola's first time writing anything major, so I think he just helped out in the plotting and the probably in the scripting, where it was Mike's ideas. And his also artist was Mike Mignola, obviously, because that is the aesthetic for Hellboy, is all Mignola and his dark shadows and everything, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a bit. It starts in 1944. The U.S. Army and a Nazi fighting superhero named the Torch of Liberty and three other paranormal investigators, one of whom is a young Trevor Broom, who's an important personage in this story. They're brought to a village in England by a psychic who predicted a terrible evil event would take place there. Meanwhile, the actual evil event was taking place on a small island off the coast of Scotland, and that had a bunch of Nazis who were in a summoning circle with Rasputin from Russian lore, trying to summon the Ogdru Jahad, which are like Cthulhu-like Lovecraftian monsters who, if they get summoned, will bring about Ragnarok and the end of the world. The Ogdru Jahad were not summoned, but a boy-like red-skinned demon appeared where the Allies were instead, and this was soon dubbed Hellboy by Professor Broom, who then adopted Hellboy. And the Nazis think they failed, but Rasputin knows differently. And then we jump to 1994. It's in the headquarters of the Bureau for Paranormal Research and Defense in New York City. The BRPD is an important organization in these stories. That's where Hellboy works. And a much older Broom is in his office, and Hellboy jumps in the room because Broom has been missing for 2 years. He was on a polar expedition, but something happened. So he just showed up all of a sudden. And he starts telling Hellboy what happened, but then all of a sudden they're interrupted by a plague of frogs. A bunch of frogs jump in the office. Broom runs and is killed by a huge frog monster. Hellboy fights the monster and wins, of course, and then the BPRD are on the trail of what happened. Hellboy's joined on his mission by Liz Sherman, a pyrotechnic woman who looks normal, but she controls fire, and Abe Sapien, who is a merman. And they're led to an old decaying mansion above a lake called Cavendish Hall. This is the home of the men who accompanied Broom to Antarctic. And after being welcomed in, Liz is soon kidnapped, and Abe disappears after searching the lake below the mansion. And Hellboy is attacked by more frogmen, and eventually a huge tentacled monster before being confronted by Rasputin, who is still alive. Rasputin had planned to use Hellboy to summon the Ogdu Jahad, but now he has Liz, who he says has much more power than her. Just when all looks lost, Abe, now possessed by the ghost of the mansion's owner, it's a long story, throws a harpoon through Rasputin. This disrupts the spell he has on Liz, and then Liz immolates him, engulfing him in flames, ending the threat for now. And this is kind of how their adventures go. They tend to start off as a normal investigation and then fall into chaos and fighting.
So, Coach, what did you think about Hellboy Seed of Destruction?
I thought it was awesome. I read it a long time ago. I remember reading some of the Hellboy stuff in the 90s, but then, we kind of rekindled our love for Hellboy and read it. And I really like the aesthetic. For some reason, Mignolia's art and the way Hellboy is, I don't think it could be drawn any other way. And the story was good. It just kind of whets your appetite. Rasputin is a, I don't want to say historical figure, but a famous villain. Let's put it that way, the Mad Monk. And I just like the way it all fit together. So it's action and adventure, but there's also mysticism and magic and the occult and demons and superheroes and everything just kind of mixed together, and it's a good kind of conglomerate of everything. So by reading the book, it makes you just kind of fall in love with the characters.
Yeah, I agree. The writing is actually pretty good. And I do like, because I going into this, seeing the movies, I kind of think, oh, when is Hellboy gonna beat something up? Beat up a frog monster, or beat up something. But there's a lot of talking, and I think Mignola does it really well. But and Rob, what did you think about Seed of Destruction?
Yeah, you can tell he's a first time writer. There's a lot of narrative, which doesn't happen later in the later stories, where he just has walls of text where he describes and sets the scene kind of. But it also was written in the 90s, which at the time, writing was not the important thing. It was all about the art. So compare that to how deep these comics are. It's pretty amazing it came out of that time. It's not like nowadays where writing is the main point. Back in the 90s, it was all about the art, which the art here is amazing. But that's it. Also, the art was also Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld and those kind of people, much more, I'd say, realistic, well, hyper-realistic, where this is much more impressionistic. It's not accurate at all. There's the human dimensions are changing all the time, and that's just his style. But as the story goes, it really sets a scene, like Coach said. This goes from here. This lays the groundwork, and it goes from here to show what's going to happen in the rest of the series.
Yeah, and Mignola's art fits very well in this, I think. Because it's like you said, that Lovecraftian type. The Lovecraftian monster, and the kind of horror aspect it has, but the art fits. It's weird art. Hellboy doesn't really have any shoulders. At some point, in some angles, he doesn't have shoulders, and it looks weird, but I mean, it fits. But
yeah, it's definitely dark and brooding. There's shadows. Mignola's known for his shadows. They're not cross-hatched like Jim Lee's. They're black. It's just, if it's a shadow, it's just black. So it really adds a cool horror aesthetic, like you say, dark colors.
Yeah, there are a lot of shadows. There's a lot of black, which honestly, it seems like it's I don't know, black and dark colors. There really aren't any light colors besides Hellboy being red and some red stuff
and fire. But, I guess that's the only.
Yeah, I mean, but that's pretty much it. That's the only light color he uses. But it's good art. But yeah. So how do you guys think, or Rob, how do you think they're going to incorporate this into the miniatures game?
They definitely, the way James from Needy Cat Games has talked, it's exactly that. It's you investigate, you try to find out as much as you can, you run out of time, all of a sudden the big bad fights you, and you have to hope that you investigated enough to do it, and that's just following this storyline exactly. Like, I think they use this as a template for sure, and I can't wait to see how you incorporate more further storylines down the line, but you can tell this is definitely where they got the idea of how the game's going to run.
Yeah, definitely. And it's cool because Ronnie was saying at Mantic Open Night, he was saying that, like, if you wait too long and you investigate too long, that monster can get really strong and destroy you in the end. But yeah, so we all agree that Hellboy Seed of Destruction is good, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, anything else to add about Hellboy Volume 1 Seed of Destruction?
I think the game is gonna, what's cool is that we've read Seed of Destruction. Now we get to play a game in that universe, but in that, not only in the universe, but in the actual storyline that we've read. So I'm sure there's going to be some frog monsters, lots of tentacles. Rasputin is in there. I don't know if I know I'm going to meld it together, but I'm not sure if Baba Yaga is going to be in there because she was in the one of the first two. So you kind of, you're taking something that you read and that you like, and you're being able to play it on the tabletop. And what Ronnie said, which I really liked, was you can do the same mission over and over again, but the monsters is a random monster. So the decisions you make, the big boss, like the first time might be the frog monster, but then the second time might be Rasputin. And then the third time it could be someone else, and so on and so forth. So they there's just limitless possibilities for the same game.
Yeah, they said that at first you're going to have like a mission pack where you play that one, but after a while you can just mix and match the mission packs, and it'll play totally different games with totally different... It might have different clues to get to the final boss, but the final boss might be totally different, which is kind of neat.
Right.
And then obviously for expansions, they're just going to keep adding those mission packs, which is... That's the... you always have to have a outlet for expansions in a board game, and I think that they definitely have a good basis for that.
Now, I know there are a lot of volumes of Hellboy, so I wonder how they're gonna, go through that. You know what I mean? Like how many Hellboy volumes are there? Because I know there's like 7 library editions, and then there's Hellboy in the BRPD, and then Hellboy in Hell, and all that stuff. So, like, I wonder, like, are they, like, how far are they gonna go with it? You know what I mean? Like, are they gonna go through, like, all 7 library editions, or are they gonna...
Well, then there's the BRPD, too. There's a whole BRPD series that they could get into. Plus, they've already announced that Lobster Johnson is going to be part of one of the stretch goals, I think. And he's got his whole own series of books, too. For comic books, they have a lot to go off of. So I think it's... If they keep the license, like, who knows what their deal was, but if they can continue creating content for it, they definitely have a lot of places to go. Like, there's no shortage, that's for sure.
Yeah, there are just so many books in the, what would you call it, the Hellboy universe, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. There's just so much for them to go off of, like, even, like, it didn't, like, Abe had a book, didn't Abe have a book? So, like, they could even go off that and, do that stuff. So, I mean, but we are going to be covering mostly the Hellboy, like the Hellboy comics on here. I don't want to go into, like, BRPD because it's just so much.
Well, yeah, but that's in year 10 of this series. We'll be moving into the BRPD, and as more and more content comes out, you might have to cover that stuff. You never know. Yeah,
I don't know. We may just stick with like Hellboy, but we'll see what happens with that. I mean, because there are so many books. Like, I'm looking here at the list of books. Because it's like you got BRPD, The Plague of Frogs, and it's like 3 omnibus editions. And then like Lobster Johnson has like 6 volumes.
Plus, there's all the new Hellboy. It's like Hellboy 1954, not Hellboy, like it has all different years, and they go back in Hellboy's history, just having a little one-shot investigations, which I think that would be much more good for content for the game, Like that'd be cool. So you can go back in time, and you might be playing in some weird country in 1950s, and you have that kind of aesthetic and that kind of technology. That'd be kind of fun to have those kind of supplements. So we'll see if they, like I say, they have a lot they can go off of. So we'll see where they go with it.
Well, they definitely said that they're going to do we know it's the first 2 graphic novels or the first 2 omnibuses, but how far are we going to go? Really depends on the Kickstarter, which, I think it's going to be, I think this one is going to be another successful one.
Without a doubt, it's going to be very successful.
And they have announced the first expansion's called BRPD, so I assume that's when they're going to add in Roger the Homunculus and people like that, where they were BRPD characters. So we'll see. And in the main book, or in the main box set, I should say, it comes with Johan, the ghost guy, too, as well as Liz and Hellboy and Ape Sapien as the main 4 characters. So I think the expansion will add more characters plus more case files, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, that's cool. I cannot wait for this. And by the time you guys are listening to this, the Kickstarter will be live. So go check out that Kickstarter, because I think, knowing Mantic, the Kickstarter is going to be awesome. So, but yeah, so we will have coverage on the minute. Like I said before, we'll have coverage on Family Gamer 777. Miniature wise, link will be in the description for Family Gamers, and also Dead on the podcast. Robbie, you have Hellboy Minute over there as well.
Yep, I'll be covering news and things coming out. More of the not so much the gameplay, but more what's coming out, what's happening. More news kind of segments. So
you guys are getting a lot of coverage for the miniatures game. Then over here, we're gonna have we're gonna talk about the comics and whatnot. But and that will be fun. So anything else to add about Hellboy: Seed of Destruction?
Nope, can't wait. It's going to be, unfortunately, a Kickstarter. It takes so long. I wish it was here now, but at least the Kickstarter started. We can get excited that way. And then we'll have to wait our year before we get our content. But
I have a feeling it's going to come quick.
Hopefully,
because Star Saga came out. That was pretty quick, even though we're waiting for Wave 2. But the original, the regular game came out pretty good. It was pretty much on time.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they can get the box set done and out before Christmas. That'd be amazing, but I can't see it. We'll see. Hope springs eternal.
Yes, I don't know about before Christmas, but
Yeah.
We can only hope. But all right, well, I guess that's it. Unless you have anything else to say.
Nope. Back to Kickstarter.
Yep. All right, guys. So, like I said, Family Gamer 777 will be in the description. We'll cover the miniature games, and you have Hellboy Minute, and I'll have the link to that also in the description. So, all right, guys. So if you liked the video, please like. If you got any questions, comment down below, and subscribe for more Hellboy coverage. And we'll see you in the next one.
Play that music.
Bye, night.